You know what? Being a dick is fun. It's literally how I make a living, and nothing can bring more joy than pissing about in video games, punching old people, smashing up cars, and generally being a nuisance. But on the flip side, being a dev must be a right pain in the arse, as they have to curtail such knobbish behaviour from us louts and actually try to make us play the game. Often it's the case that they'll use game overs or insta-deaths if you, say, shoot annoying characters who won't get out of the goddamn way, Natalia! But sometimes they go above and beyond to bring you in line in funny and interesting ways. With this in mind, I'm Jules the Southwest Savage for WhatCulture.com, here with a list of 10 hilarious ways video games punished you for being a dick. Number 10. Having your ex steal all your stuff. Like many RPGs, Skyrim gave you the option to interact with its many characters and even spark up a relationship with a select lucky few. Whether it's the owner of the local tavern or your trusty follower, you've got the option to start a romance with just about anyone. But just like in real life, breaking up and disappointing these people can be a nasty experience, and falling out of favour with some of these characters can have some serious repercussions on your game. If it's the local tavern owner, you'll only be screwed out of a few good deals. Annoying, but not too damaging in the long run. If it's a trusted follower you disappoint though, you might have just messed up big time. Because followers act as second inventories, things can get a bit tricky if they refuse to talk to you. Anything you burdened them with to carry before the big bust up will be inaccessible, so you better hope you didn't give them, say, I don't know, one-of-a-kind plot items to look after, because you won't be getting it back. Number 9. Fighting an invincible army after betraying your team. Look, everyone knows that killing teammates and comrades is a terrible thing to do, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. You have these sprawling gunfights and sometimes your allies just strafe right into your sightlines while you're blasting away at a nearby Covenant dropship, mostly because their AI is about as switched on as my dead nan's life support machine. But regardless of excuses, kill too many allies in Halo, or more specifically Captain Keyes in an early mission, and the game isn't going to let you off lightly. Kill Keyes and the doors around you will lock while an invincible group of soldiers spawn to take revenge for their fallen captain. Even a Spartan won't be able to fight his way out of this one. Number 8. Getting sent to detention. While Rockstar's cult hit Bully drew heavily from the GTA series, the youthful focus of the title meant you essentially lived out all of the stupid fantasies you've thought up with your friends at school. But of course the school setting meant that a few essential GTA tropes had to be drastically changed. For example, no one was going to be calling the police because you paint-bombed a few students, but if you attacked off-limit targets such as the Keyes staff, you'd be punished in a classic playground fashion. Getting caught causing mischief too many times and you'll be sent to detention, and it's actually as boring and as mind-numbing as it is in real life. You'll be forced to complete a small mini-game before you can return to the schoolyard, and as you end up back in the same room time and time again, you'll only loathe it more. But still, nice touch. Number 7. Lewis turns on you. In the zany world of Resident Evil 4, you need all the help you can get, especially when you're tasked with holding down a cabin from a horde of ghouls who want nothing more than to make you an ornament for their pitchforks. Fortunately, you're given help in the form of Lewis, who aids you throughout the level, handing you much needed herbs, ammo, and grenades. But if you don't appreciate his act of kindness, in fairness he's a bit of an arrogant snob, you can always try to kill him when he's not looking. Unlike other NPCs in the game, however, Lewis actually reacts to you trying to attack him, and after a while you'll get this cutscene, which is pretty much Capcom saying to you, okay dickbag, eat this. Number 6. Disappointing your entire team with animal abuse. Mass Effect 2's Overlord DLC made great use of the Hammerhead, a new player-controlled vehicle that thankfully buried the Mako forever. The Overlord DLC also introduced space cows into the game, charming little animals who wanted nothing more than to live out their useless lives in the country while an intergalactic war raged all around them. If you're so inclined, you could shoot and blow these space cows to pieces, but it's an act as heartless as taking candy from a baby and then punting the baby over a rugby post. If you keep causing space genocide when you should, be busy saving the world, then the onboard AI will continue to leave passive-aggressive messages for you, which are hilarious but also make me feel bad, but not bad enough to stop, obviously. Number 5. Being punished for killing strippers. The gameplay of Duke Nukem basically boils down to, you like women and you shoot aliens. Rinse and repeat and you pretty much have every single plot of the game in the series. But if for some reason you can't grasp this simple concept, the game punishes you for it. Murder any innocent strippers and the game spawns entire rooms full of enemies that teleport to their defense and take revenge for your senseless violence. And in a game where even the aliens think that what you've done is too awful, you've got to admit that it's hard not to side with them on this one. Number 4. The Hog of War. While you can stumble across numerous animals during your time in the Wind Waker, there aren't many as memorable as a certain lovable pig. The affectionately titled Link the Pig spends most of his time in the home base once captured by Link on his travels, growing to an enormous size. Now, if for some reason you want to smack the pork out of him or just gently encourage that he exercise more, he'll break from his usually calm demeanor and smite you down with one of the most powerful attacks in the game. Dealing more damage than any other enemy in the game, you're going to be eating up to 3 hearts worth of health if you mess with this guy. It's not recommended, but more importantly, why would you want to hurt him in the first place? Number 3. Receiving a thank you letter from the Gluckons. The entire point of the PlayStation classic Abe's Odyssey is that you're supposed to spend the game saving your fellow Mudokons before they're unwittingly turned into the new and tasty secret sauce, Soylent Green style. You don't have to though, and you can actually finish the game without rescuing a single soul, although you'll get a bad ending. Go one step further and get them all killed intentionally, which is actually a pretty difficult task, and you'll unlock a secret message from the villains of the game, the Gluckons. As it turns out, leading your fellow workers to their deaths is even a little bit too evil for them, who are both proud and disgusted by what you've achieved. Once the last Mudokon meets his demise, you'll be treated to this message. Whacking all those Mudokons was no accident, you twisted creep. Moloch commends you. Enjoy your bonus infinite grenades. Wait a minute, infinite grenades? Maybe it was worth it. Number 2. The loading screens act as your therapist. As you delve further and further into the brain-bending main campaign, you start realizing that something isn't quite right, even though that's the entire point of the game. But towards the end, when everything devolves into balls-to-the-walls insanity, even the loading screens start calling you out on your questionable behavior. Dropping all of that press X to reload nonsense that usually riddles every gaming loading screen in existence, Spec Ops uses this time to drive the game's themes home even more. If you decide to indulge in the bit of the old ultra-violence to people who don't really deserve it, then the loading screens will begin to ridicule you for your actions. Instead of the regular tips, messages like, "Do you feel like a hero yet?" and "This is all your fault" chastise you for indulging in such chaos. I guess this isn't really that funny, but it's a good touch. And number 1, Rose breaks up with you. When it comes to video game Easter eggs, it doesn't get much better than Metal Gear Solid 2. From ninja unlocks to hidden codes, MGS2 has enough content to keep players coming back time and time again. Very early in the game, you'll notice that your character has a tendency to slip and fall if you run into bird droppings on the ground. It's farcical and silly, but players can go to extreme measures to get payback on those birds who made you look like a fool. Taking out those flying rats goes some way towards revenge, but be careful how many you kill, as dedicating too much time to indulge your hateful anti-bird fantasy won't sit well with your commander or even your girlfriend. Shoot down too many hapless birds and you'll have everyone calling you on the codec telling you how much of an awful human being you are. Keep doing it and your girlfriend Rose will go so far as to break up with you not being able to save until you say you're sorry. And that's our list. Got any more developer dick kicks that you want to share? Well, let us know about them in the comments section below. And if you want to come be a prick to me, you can do so on Twitter at RetroJ0. If you enjoyed the list, then like, share, and subscribe for more. As always, I've been Jules for WhatCulture.com, and I'll speak to you soon.